Okay, this video is going to show you how I overwinter my pepper plants. I'm using some pictures from a few years ago that I took of some hot Hungarian wax peppers that I overwintered. And the reason people like to overwinter pepper plants is one, it's just kind of a fun thing to do over the winter when you're up north and you can't grow anything outside. Another reason is that if you overwinter it and plant it out when the weather gets good again the next spring, it's got a big head start on growing plants from seed or even buying starters from the store, because the plant already has a good established root base and stem system, and all it needs is the warm weather to get the foliage and the fruit going. So that's why a lot of people overwinter. I do it just as a hobby, just for the fun of something to do over the winter. But anyway, these are the two pepper plants that I chose, both Hungarian hot Hungarian wax, whatever. And you can see this is just before I did the final harvest on them for the year and ended my season. This picture is the first of the two plants. This one I pruned quite a ways back, but I actually didn't prune it as far as I normally do. What I like to do is go to about the third node on a pepper plant. And a node is where it branches. And here I went up to 5 or 6, which I normally don't do. On this next one, you can see I went up to the third node. You got the main node there in the middle, and then the next node is your second node, and then at the end is your third node. And what you want to do when you prune back is prune to just above the nodes. If you prune below the node, you're going to kill that node off, and all of the stem back to the next lower node is going to die off. You're going to have dead wood there, and that's not what you want. Okay, so prune above the nodes when you do this. And in this picture, you see both plants after they've been pruned back and unpotted, and I've also cut back the root ball. You want the root ball to be approximately the same size as the top of the plant after you prune it. And the reason you want to cut down the root ball is because you're going to replant these plants into a smaller pot, so you need to trim down that root ball, get rid of some of that older growth on it. And in this picture, you see both of the pepper plants repotted already into the smaller pots, and there's just a few leaves on them, but they'll do just fine. Here they are again. This is in November, about 2, 3, 4 weeks after I pruned them back, and you can already see all the new growth coming out on them. They've got little leaves all over them now, doing just fine. And this is in December, another 5 or 6 weeks later, and the two peppers on the right are my Hungarian wax peppers. The pepper on the left is a Naga. I did this one also, but I'm just concentrating on the Hungarian wax peppers for this video. You can see they're doing just fine in the middle of the winter. It's snow on the ground out there. Lots of new growth. And here they are in February. And all this time, I've probably pruned these plants back 2 or 3 times already, because you don't want to let them get out of hand. You probably don't want to let them, they'll flower and fruit during the winter, and that's probably not what you really want. It takes a lot of energy out of the plants. But on the right side there, you see that one Hungarian wax pepper does have a pod on it sticking up there at the top, and I just let that grow for the fun of it. But you can see all the pepper plants are doing just fine. This is already into February. And here's the plants again. The two on the left are the Hungarian wax peppers. Again, the Naga's on the right. You can see that pepper on the left plant there is still on there. And I got them out in March in Wisconsin, which is very unusual. It was probably, I don't know, in the 50s or so that day. And I just decided to give them a little nice, fresh, unfiltered sunshine and fresh air. You can't do this very long because these plants, being indoors all winter, are to unfiltered sunlight, and they will sunburn very quickly. I probably had them out for a half an hour, an hour. And here we are, May 11th, several months or a couple months later, and I'm getting ready to repot them back for the next summer now. This is 2012. And you can see that they got plenty of new growth. And again, I've several times had to prune them back. You don't want to let them get out of hand in the winter. You want to kind of keep them in a dormant state. Otherwise, you're going to have full-grown plants by the time the next spring rolls around. And then this is after I've got them potted up. Doing just fine. And here they are later in the summer during the middle of the growing season. And you can see they got several peppers. I've already harvested probably one crop of peppers off of these earlier. And this is a second growth now. And they're producing real well.